Good evening. Tonight we need to discuss how to record data in tables. As with a lot of other things, there are rules or conventions for using tables in science. First, we want you to draw them using a pencil, a nice sharp one. We also want you to use a ruler. All of your columns must have headings and units, and I'll show you what that means in a moment. All the cells must be fully enclosed, which is not something I'm able to illustrate to you on this video, but that is something we'll practice together in class. So I'll draw your attention to it if you're not enclosing your cells. A table needs to have a meaningful title. So calling a table isn't very meaningful. I can see that it's a table. Instead, you should describe to me what's happening in that table. What is that table about? Your independent variable belongs in the left-hand column, and it really should follow some kind of a pattern. So the values in your left-hand column, your independent variable, should either be increasing or decreasing. It doesn't matter which, maybe, but whatever pattern you identify, try to follow that. All right, here's an example of a table that I would like you to take a moment to copy into your notes. I want to draw your attention to some of the features of this table because they follow the rules I was describing to you a moment ago. First of all, take a look at that title. This title is very descriptive. It's not a fancy title, but it lets you know exactly what's going on here. And hopefully, by reading that title, it jogs your memory a little and makes you think of a practical experience that you may have undertaken in the past. Also, notice that the independent variable appears in the left-hand column, and also that those numbers are increasing. They may not be increasing by a constant amount. So, for example, my very first reading was taken at 4 degrees Celsius, and the next one was taken at 25 degrees Celsius, and the next one at 30, and then 35, and so on. But it's definitely the trend is, the pattern is that these numbers are increasing. That doesn't need to be the case with the rest of the table, only with this left-hand column. Notice that both of my columns have headings. The left-hand one is called temperature. The right-hand one is called the time to the blue color, the time until the blue color appears. So both of those headings are descriptive and meaningful as well. At the top of each column, I also describe the units I used to measure those values. So my temperature is measured in degrees Celsius, and my time was measured in seconds. Notice that the short form for seconds is just a lowercase s. It's not SEC, which people tend to misuse. I don't know where that comes from, but in science we describe seconds with a lowercase s. Also, one more thing that I need you to notice in this table is the lack of something. In both of these columns, all I've got is numbers written down. I don't have any units. Because I described at the top of the column that temperature was going to be measured in degrees Celsius, I don't write degrees Celsius behind every one of my temperatures in that column. Nor do I write seconds behind the 28, the 19, the 18, and so on. So because you've written down the units in the heading of your column in your table, you don't need to keep rewriting that value all the way through, and in fact, you shouldn't. All right, so that's what you need to know about tables this evening, and we'll practice some when I see you in class.